Good morning, everyone. Good morning to each of you. Welcome. Finding our way for our Vichara yoga this morning. So coming to hop back to your mats, finding whatever feels perfect and comfortable for you. Just getting us all set up here. Good morning. Good morning. Making our way back towards our mats. So finding our way into any comfortable seated position here. And I would invite you this morning, if you have a block or something like a block, then to grab one of those. And also if you have a bolster or if you have a nice thick pillow that can be fairly large, like this one, then I'm also inviting you to grab that as well. And finding our way here seated. Good morning. Namaste, everyone. Now let's start to already get settled here on our mats with the hands palms down onto the knees. Just already feeling our stabilization, the steadiness. And this morning, let's allow our sadhana to really continue from our meditation. Even if you didn't join the meditation this morning, we were really exploring the preciousness of every breath, and especially exploring the way in which that exhale can lead us to the connection with all of infinity. And so in this morning's sadhana, let's really be invited into an exploration of deepened breath, really an inquiry as to what this breath is, and tracking the way in which that emptying out, especially of the exhalation, brings us to a direct contact with life now in its infinite nature. And so on a very physiological level, we're going to explore really opening especially that whole diaphragmatic area. So many of us restrict our breath, not because the physical body is restricted, but because the history, the conditioning of the mind has crystallized into the body. What does that mean? That really so much of our tension, our stress, our anxiety, the weighting down into our shoulders, whatever it might be, the holdings of our heart have been occurring to a level that this has become embodied. It's become imprinted, somatized, crystallized in the physical structure. And so our breath follows in suit. So this morning, let's really invite ourselves to breathe again. Just this in and of itself can be a beautiful platform for Vichara, for inquiry. What happens when breath deepens? And when we come to every breath, when we really can start to seat ourselves into this breath as all that is resoundingly true. So you might notice at times in this morning sadhana, really this opening in through the band, under and through the rib cage, through that space of the heart and the chest. And for some of us, it might feel like an invitation to a new way of being embodied. Especially if you've been spending more time at home, or you've been spending time on devices, or the whole area, the frontal area, can start to collapse into itself. What happens with our breath then? Or if we're feeling worried or concerned, we're protecting the heart, and all of this becomes depressed and drawn back. What happens to the breath then? So let's explore then this morning. And we will explore a longer time of pranayama. So we're going to explore a few pranayamas this morning, a few breathing practices, And I hope you'll enjoy. If at any moment it feels like a lot for you, then just come on down onto your mat in Shavasana and relaxation and let all integrate. Let all find its resting place. So come to close the eyes, and as always, I welcome you to repeat after me. We begin by chanting this beautiful Shantipata, this peace prayer. So let the hands glide down into the heart, into Anjali Mudra. Repeating after me. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Vonaktu Saha Viriyam Karavavahe Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahe Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Staying here for another moment or two to feel the echoes of the mantra. And then also landing into your own sankalpa, landing into your own sacred intention for this morning's sadhana. What is it that brings you here now? And then staying with the hands here, start to bring a conscious attention to the breath. Just noticing where the breath is at, which really is an indicator of where we are seated, where we're localized. When we become more heady, more subject to thoughts, more hijacked in the mind, we might notice that breath shortens, or it's located in the upper chambers, up through the collarbone. But as all is given space to be as it is, to be in space perfectly now. Without confinement, you also notice that the breath becomes unconfined. It reaches into the deeper chambers, the lower parts of the lungs, and with that you might notice that the heart rises and falls effortlessly. But you can feel the breath also gliding lower down towards the navel, the abdomen expanding, unconfined. And another breath or two with the hands here at the heart. And then with the next exhale, let the hands gently fall down towards the knees and continue to feel that expression of the breath. And if you bring consciously the attention down towards the space below the navel, in between the navel and the pubic bone, let there be a feeling of this space widening out, relaxing, especially with each inhalation. Feel that space engorge. And with every exhale, let it soften and release. And let there be an effortlessness in the breath. You can choose whether it enters and exits through nose or enters through nose and exits through mouth. See what feels most aligned in this moment. And then feel the way in which you're welcoming breath to its edges. So with the inhalation, welcome the inhalation to its edge, meaning inhale, and when you reach that place that feels like you can't inhale anymore, widen, open, just slightly. Invite breath in a little bit further. And when you exhale and reach that place that feels like finality, exhale just a little bit further, empty. Find one more breath in this way. And then gently we'll start to come into Pratapana, into our warming. Let's start with a seated opening of this space with a seated cat-cow. So sitting here in any comfortable seated position. Again, if you need to use a pillow under the buttocks, do so. From here, let's place the hands on the knees. Inhale as you draw chest forward, head looks up, opening through the space. And then exhale as you draw everything back. Almost feel like you rock back towards the back of the sit bones, and you drop the chin in towards the chest, really exaggerating this movement. Inhale, drawing forward. Exhale, dropping in and rolling. And now starting to find your own rhythm, and again, choose. It might feel more nourishing to allow the breath to exit from mouth. And as you do this, really continue to try to take the breath down to that space of the navel and feel the way we're rocking and creating spaciousness, especially around that area under the ribs. Continue to breathe into the space. One last time here. And then let the body come towards a place of neutrality. Continue to notice how just this movement, just this warming, might be welcoming a deepened breath. Even feeling maybe that the breath is finding its pathway along the spine. Of course, we know physiologically the lungs are not in the spine, but you might notice a relationship between deepened breath and what's occurring along the spine. And then let's start to open the side bodies. So switch the legs, just release and bring whichever leg is at the back to the front, and then find your comfort here again. And let's plant the hands down onto the sides. You've done this movement before, but we're going to adapt it, or most of you have. So from here, plant the left arm, and then take the right arm up. Inhale, look up towards the hand. And then exhale, look towards that left hand, shift the body, drop the hand down. Inhale, take it back up. Open. Exhale, drop it back down. Continue with this movement. Inhale, extending the arm up, look up. Exhale, dropping it back down. And if you need to take that left arm a little bit further from the hip, you can do so. Inhale, expand. Exhale, dropping down. So you feel that twist that's happening in through the side body here. Continue a few more times. Last time here. And then inhale through center. And exhale, bring the right hand down. And then let's do the same on the other side, except it's completely different. Plant that right hand. Inhale, let the arm come up. And then exhale, twist and drop the right hand down. Look to, or rather the left, look to the left. Inhale, take it up, open. Exhale, drop it down. Continue in this way. And again, if you need to extend the right arm a bit further, you can do so. Last time here. And then with the next inhale, coming up and then exhaling, dropping hands down towards the floor and reside there. Close the eyes. Notice that opening all the way down through the sides of the rib cage, the side bodies. And again, bring an acquaintance to the breath now. You might notice that it is naturally invited to deepen. What happens as breath deepens? Maybe physiologically, you can notice the relaxation, the welcoming of oxygen, but maybe also energetically, at a deeper level, you can notice how all comes back to its natural calmness. The relationship between the breath and the inner state. And then from here, let's come to turn the body onto a tabletop and then find our way right up into downward dog. So press the hands forward, walk the feet slightly back, and find your way into a downward dog position. Feet hip width distance apart. From here, we're going to exhale as we drop head and really come into this inverted V. And then with an inhale, rise up, come into plank, and then slowly allow the pelvis to drop down as the head looks up. Exhale, draw back. Inhale, come through, slow, steadied. And if you feel to flip the toes, you can do so here. If you want to roll over onto the toes, that's a possibility. Exhale, roll back. Continue in your own rhythm here. And if anyone's finding this challenging, you can always drop down onto the knees and do this in the position of Marjariasana, the cat. Now notice here if there's any holding in the breath, and really try to invite the breath now even farther down towards the pelvic floor. Feel like when you inhale, you not only engorge the area of the rib cage, the lungs, the abdomen, but it enters the space right down to the bottom of the torso, right down to that pelvic floor. last time here, exhale fully. And then with the next inhale, just look up to the hands and let your knees hover here for a moment. Feel your strength there. Let's do a few breaths in this way. Exhale, draw back. Even shorten the stance ever so slightly. Inhale, look to hands. Hover knees. Exhale. And now, even if this is a little bit challenging for you, see if you can let the breath still be full. Inhale here. Exhale. Continue to find your breath in this way, letting the knees hover over the mat. Feel the way in which this might require strength. This is a little bit of an exercise to play here to see if even when we're in challenge or there's a bit of effort, if we restrict the breath. So a couple more times here. And then exhale, drop the knees down, flip the toes out, and then draw all the way back into child's pose. And from here, let's bring the elbows onto the floor and the fingers planted together, arms up towards the sky, or rather fingers up towards the sky. Feel that slight opening, or maybe it's quite an opening for some of us, into the space of the shoulders. And gently draw the thumbs back towards the body and even just pulse the hands here a little bit as fingers come up towards the sky, and then we draw the fingers back towards the back of the neck. Find deep and full breaths here. And then from here, coming up into our last pratapana, into our last warming. So come right up into a tabletop position, knees under the hips, the wrists under the shoulders. From here, we'll do a variation of that cat-cow, but using the legs. So we're going to start from here, pointing as we inhale through right leg, draw the toes up, look up towards the sky, and as you exhale, roll into yourself and take the forehead towards the knee. Inhale, expand. Exhale, draw in. Continue. Again, really wringing out this space of the abdomen. If we're holding tension here, if tension in the form of stress or anxiety, fragility is being held at this level, then we may not be welcoming breath fully. So as we do this, really try to both move with the movement fully and also try to allow breath to access those lower chambers, that space, that band around the diaphragm, under the ribs, into the abdomen. And next, exhale, drop the right knee down. And then let's do the same on the other side. So with the inhale, drawing through the left foot, point those toes, look up. With the exhale, drawing forehead towards the knee. And last time, exhaling here, and then drop the left knee down. Let's come up onto the fists. So let yourself come up there and just slowly start to rotate here to really release. And if you feel you want to flip one of the wrists, just one at a time. So you're coming onto the back of the hand to feel that slight release. Then you might do the same on the other side as we start to do those small circles in the other direction. And then very slowly, we're going to come back into Vajrasana. But if you have, we're going to come into just a couple asanas here before finding our way into pranayama. So if you have your bolster nearby or a pillow, grab it. And then come into Vajrasana a little bit forward on your mat, because we're going to actually come into Supta Vajrasana, so this reclined posture. From here, I would welcome you to bring this horizontally along the back, if this is possible. For some of us, it may be difficult to come back into this reclined posture, and so then I would welcome you to bring the bolster into, or the pillow into, that vertical positioning. So if you can bring it back towards the buttocks. From here, try to keep the legs parallel. Even if there's a slight space in between them, they stay parallel. We're going to gently, slowly walk the hands behind the bolster or the pillow as we allow the body to soften down towards the mat over the bolster. Let the arms come out towards the sides in this L shape. And again, you can use a pillow here, or if you want to use a block with a blanket over top, that's always an option. And if for some of you, this is too much of an acute opening in through this space, this band of the rib cage, the area of the diaphragm, or if you're feeling tension in through the knees, prop yourself up a little bit higher. So you can always use the bolster, like I said, vertically, or you can use a couple pillows here, so we're not coming as deep into the posture. Still welcoming you to allow the shoulders to fall off towards the sides, arms at the sides, either in an L or expanded out to the sides, to really allow this opening, the whole space of the lungs, the chest, the rib cage. And see if you can find long and deep breaths here. Of course, if at any point there's a discomfort that is drawing the attention, then slowly find your way to soften within that, to soften to the sensations that are here, but then never push beyond, so you can come on out of the asana and just stay seated in your own silence. Feel the resonant effects of Supta Vajrasana, this reclined posture. This is really harmonizing for Manipura chakra, the fire element, the navel chakra. You might feel that warmth as it emanates out from the navel. But especially here, welcoming breath to deepen, finding a few more breaths here. Find one more full inhalation, and with that, You can even lace the fingers together and feel a length all the way through the shoulders, pointing the palms the opposite direction of the knees. And then with the exhale, slowly soften the hands. Bring them back towards the bolster or the sides of the hips. And ever so slowly, start to draw the chin up and prop yourself up onto the elbows first. So find your comfort here, firstly. We're just letting the back, the whole area of the rib cage, integrate the opening that's occurred. And then you can slowly plant one hand down onto the floor, then the other, and gently bring yourself up into a seated position. Sit there for a moment. Notice this whole space, the thoracic cavity, this area. Feel the welcoming of that opening as prana shakti, as prana, as energy, as life is invited here. With that freshness, you might notice a different way in which you're inhabiting your body. And then let's take the bolster and come forward, actually, into Balasana, into child's pose, but supported. So you might need to come back on your mat, as I am, and then widen out through the knees. So you can take your bolster or your pillow in between the legs. And then from here, let's really find the length through the spine. So take the arms up towards the sky. Inhale, look up towards the sky as you do so. And then with the exhale, continue to keep your chin lifted so you really feel like you're lengthening towards the front, not rounding here as we move into this. Then you can drop the hands down onto either side of the pillow and continue to keep the heart lifted. Stay here for a moment or two and feel that space in between the shoulder blades. So feel that back of the heart space, the back of the lungs. Take a full inhalation, and then with the exhale, gently, slowly let yourself melt down onto the bolster and come onto the left temple or onto the pillow. And then consciously for a moment, bring the backs of the hands to that space at the back of the rib cage and just rub up and down along this area. As you do so, begin to breathe and see if you can feel the breath into the back. You can even stop for a moment, wrap your hands here, consciously invite the breath into this space. And then gently, slowly relax the hands down. Let them soften onto either side of the bolster. Find your comfort here. Of course, if you need to use something else between the buttocks and the heels, you can do so. And just as we had this back or heart opening before that opens the breath, there's also something to resting in this position and allowing the naturalness of breath like a child to enter in. If we notice the bellies of babies, of children, they tend to expand effortlessly, be softened, to welcome breath without a holding. So see if similarly you can start to feel the tummy, the abdomen really soften down onto the pillow. Find your comfort here and really breathe into that whole space of the abdomen and the back of the rib cage. And then with the next inhale, Slowly lift the head and let the head come towards the right temple now. Again, find your softening here. And like a child, balasana, finding that easefulness. There's a freshness to life in which we really welcome each and every moment, but also each and every breath. Let there be that relaxed presence. And for these last few breaths, consciously feel that there's an opening in through the back body and a softening through the tummy. And with the next inhale, come to plant the hands under the shoulders. Drop the forehead, so you're taking a moment or two here. Exhale fully here, and then with the inhale, slowly, gently begin to roll yourself up. Whatever way is comfortable on fingertips or hands, finding your way all the way back up into this high seated, wide position. If you need to come out of it and cross the legs in one way or another, you can do so. But otherwise, take a moment to get quiet here. And again, bring an acknowledgement to that whole space, the space of the torso, the space of the chest and the rib cage, the lungs, that whole area of the diaphragm. Notice the calm relaxedness that comes as breath deepens. Don't try to make it more complicated. Rather, the simplicity of recognizing this relationship with breath and presence now, and how effortless life is at its natural state. And then let's find our way into one last asana this morning. So take your bolster off to the side. You can use it in a second. When you come out of this position, bring the knees back towards each other, cross the ankles, and then sit back. So we never want to move the knees out in the other direction. From there, you can grab your block if you have one, or you can use your bolster here. So what we're going to do is take our way so that the feet are going to extend right to the end of the mat. We're going to come into a supported Matsyasana or supported fish posture. So from here, you can take the block onto its side position. And from there, you're going to try to bring it into alignment in between the shoulder blades. So you're just going to slowly find your way back towards the mat and find that space where it can soften and settle in between the shoulder blades, and the head can come off and down onto the mat. If you need to use a pillow under the top of the head, you can do so. Then from here, draw the arms out towards the sides of the body. Of course, if it feels intense here for the block to be in the shoulder blades in this way. You can always cover it with a blanket. The other option as well is to bring your bolster or to bring a mat, a rolled mat, a second rolled mat in the same space, or use just a conventional pillow in this space. We just use what we have. And you can slowly start to, as you squish it down, roll the body into that space in between the shoulder blades. Then allowing the shoulder blades to come off, and you can come onto the back of the head here rather. Arms out to the sides. Again, creating that openness and allowing what we really want here for the shoulder blades to fall off to the sides. So use what you have. I know some of you don't have these props at home. Find your comfort here, even in the intensity of the opening. See if you can point the toes. As you do so, feel the way in which that anchors that opening all the way through the front body, even waking up through the psoas, this largest muscle really in the body that can really restrict and draw that closure in through the abdomen and through the rib cage. So feel that whole space of the abdomen, the pelvic girdle, the rib cage widening, opening here. At the same time, the heart space. We'll stay here for 5 more breaths. And then with the exhale, relax the toes and take the arms towards the sides of the body so you can feel the elbows and the entirety of the forearms onto the mat. Press into the hands. And with the inhale, slowly start to raise the head up. Just slowly come here. You can come a little bit higher, taking the hands under the shoulders, and then gently start to walk yourself up. Stay here in Dandasana, so in this seated position. The staff pose, lengthen up through the spine. And let's dip the chin down towards the chest and just rest there for a few breaths. Feel the length up through the back of the neck, especially after this opening. And as you find full and deep breaths again, notice that whole opening. It's almost like a peeling open of the places where the fascia, the connective tissue, may have got condensed, confined in the rib cage, the space of the heart and chest. And then with the next inhale, let the head come back towards neutrality. Just relax the body here for a couple breaths. We move with this slow, steadied pace to really allow all to integrate, to find its home here. So it translates well beyond this time on the mat into the rest of the day. In so many ways, we are unmapping the past, the falsity, the conditionings that are held in the body, but really they're a mapping of the mind state. So as we do this, you might notice that there's a literal throwing out various imageries or thoughts, sensations, different things can arise from the underbelly of what's been held in the body. Nothing is clung to, don't try to figure it out, but you might be seeing that, witness it. And let's come to remove the block or the bolster, whatever you have there, and come into any cross-legged position. We'll continue with some pranayama. So find your way, if you need to use the bolster, to sit up nice and high, especially if you find staying in a seated position for longer uncomfortable, then find your way up a little bit higher so there's not as much tension finding its way into the knees. That can also be done with the block, if that's feeling comfortable for you. So either block or bolster or a cushion, whatever's feeling perfect this morning. And then from here, in your comfortable seated position, we're going to begin firstly with Maha Yoga Pranayama or Dirga Pranayama, this three-parted breath. So really welcoming the wholeness of a three-parted breath. What I want to welcome you to do first and foremost is to bring your attention to the abdomen. And we're going to begin just with 3 breaths where we sort of bellows this space of the abdomen very gently. So begin to inhale in through the nose. And as you do so, feel the belly reaching out towards the front of the space. And as you exhale, let it soften back. And now allow the inhale to enter in through the nose. And the exhale to exit from mouth. Bring conscious attention to that space of the navel, the abdomen. It inhales, and with the inhale, it reaches out. And with the exhale, it softens back. One more time in this way. And now with the next inhale, let's bring the attention to the space of the rib cage. So as you inhale, feel as though the rib cage grows out to the sides of the room. So begin inhaling. Feel like this whole space widens. 360 degrees, widening in all directions. And now as you exhale, it comes back to compress towards each other. Inhale, expand. Exhale, let it come back. And you might even bring your hands here as I am to really feel that as it occurs. One more time in this way. And now we're going to bring the attention up towards the space of the chest. So as we inhale and feel this whole space widen. There's a widening and a lifting. Feel the space in through the clavicle, creating more area, more spaciousness out towards the sides of the shoulders. And exhale. Feel it soften and almost everything coming back towards the mid space. Inhale, widen. And exhaling. And you can either keep the hands there or continue to feel this inhaling, rising and widening. And exhale, softening, relaxing. One more time here. And now we're going to bring the 3 together. So as you inhale next time, begin to inhale into the abdomen. Inhale it towards the frontal space. Continue to inhale, rib cage draws out to the sides. And now continue with the inhalation and feel the chest lift and widen. The whole space is filled up. Now begin to exhale from the mouth and exhale, the chest softens. Exhale, the rib cage come back towards center. And continue to exhale, the navel draws back. Again, inhale, navel, rib cage, chest. Exhale, chest, rib cage, and navel. Inhale, navel, rib cage, exaggerate, chest. And exhale, chest, rib cage, navel. And now continue in your own rhythm. And now, after every inhale and exhale, let there be a kumbhaka, retention. Just stay there in the fullness and the emptiness of the breath. Let this be your inquiry. Stay there in the availability to life now. Finish this round after the exhalation. And then simply allow the breath to be in its own rhythm, in its own naturalness. And notice the gifts of Dirga Pranayama, this three-parted breath. It's like we're learning again how to breathe. And as we do that, it's almost as though we're learning again how to be as life, to live. Notice the way in which this pranayama not only amplifies, of course, oxygen, feel the way in which that reaches out into all four limbs, makes its pathway throughout the whole body, but also notice what's happening to the nervous system, this calm, soft, residing presence. And mentally, notice what happens as breath deepens and calms. You can notice that naturally the mind is less active. There's more space between these sandhis, these spaces become more available. Let's continue now with Samavriti Pranayama. So this means the even movement. And as I've invited you before, we will breathe in the ratio of 4. So we're going to inhale for 4, we'll hold the breath for 4, we'll exhale from the mouth for 4, and then we'll hold the breath again for 4. And we'll continue in this way. So you're inhaling through nose and you're exhaling from mouth. If for any reason 4 feels a lot for you, then you can try 3 or 2. Try in your own rhythm what feels perfect. So let's begin in through the nose, and I will count with you for the first couple of rounds. So inhaling on 1, 2, 3, 4, and holding the breath. 2, 3, 4. Exhaling mouth. 2, 3, 4, and holding the breath. 2, 3, 4. Inhaling nose. 2, 3, 4. Holding the breath. 2, 3, 4. Exhaling mouth. 2, 3, 4. Holding the breath. 2, 3, 4. And continue in your own rhythm. continue in this way. And those of you on Instagram, it only allows for an hour, so we'll hop right back on. Let this be the last round of Samavriti, finishing with the exhale. And then settle and notice. And notice with Samavriti, this not only is an even movement in the breath, but it brings an internal evenness. What does it feel like to be at ease in that even tide? Not coming or going, not yes or no, good or bad, like or dislike, right or left. Qualitatively, all is emptied out. You rest as zero. Everything and nothing. And then let's come to one last pranayama this morning. So Nadi Shodhana pranayama or Analoma Viloma, this alternate nostril breathing. And I'm going to welcome you to do this also with the classical ratio of the breath. So we will try it together. And for some of you, this may be a little bit challenging, especially after the exhale. So just adapt as is possible for you. So the classical ratio is 1-4-2-4. What does that mean? A ratio of 1 for the inhalation, 4 for the holding, 2 for the exhalation, and 4 for the holding. But we do this through alternate nostrils. So don't get too confused here. I'll be with you throughout it. So for example, I would inhale for 1 through left, then hold the breath for 4. Then exhale from right for 2, and then hold the breath for 4. Inhale for 1 through right, hold the breath for 4. Exhale for 2 from left, and hold the breath for 4. So the rhythm is always inhale left, hold the breath. Exhale right, hold the breath. Inhale right, hold the breath. Exhale left, hold the breath. But inhaling for 1 doesn't give us enough. So what we're going to try to do together is 3, 12, 6, 12. And you might remember this in your own time. 3, 12, 6, 12. So we'll play with that together. You can take the right hand and bring it into Vishnu Mudra. So curling in the first 2 fingers and allowing the last 2 and the thumb to be like a paddle for the nose. The left hand you can bring into Chin Mudra, the first finger and the thumb coming together. From here, let's bring the thumb, the right thumb, onto the right nostril and begin to inhale through the left for 3. 1, 2, 3. Holding the breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Exhaling right. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Holding breath. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Inhale right. 2, 3. Hold the breath. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Exhale left. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold the breath. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Inhale left. 2, 3. Hold the breath. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Exhale right. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold the breath. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Inhale right. 2, 3. Hold the breath. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Exhale left. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold the breath. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And continue in your own rhythm. let this be the last round, and you always finish the round of Nadi Shodhana by exhaling from the left. So come all the way through the entirety of the round, finishing with that exhalation from the left. And then come to relax the body and notice the gifts of Nadi Shodhana. Even without me directing the attention in one way or another, notice how there's a natural sense of balancing between the ha and the ta. Nadi Shodhana, Nadi the channels of energy, Shodhana the purification. So we're especially purifying the right Pingala and the left Ida nadis. And as we bring both activation, aliveness, and purification to either side, what happens is we start to find ourselves in that center point, not partial, not in one side or the other, in one duality or the other, but instead in the center line. Feel that restedness in the centering. A great sense of harmony and balance. And just overall feel, as we've explored and inquired into the deepening of the breath this morning, notice what's here for you now. Take a few moments to acknowledge and feel the gifts of this morning's sadhana. Really steadying ourselves, and that allows it to carry into the rest of the day. For these recognitions, these revelations, not to just be a state, but actually to be the residing presence through which we live. And as always, I'm going to invite you to find your way, after we chant together, down into relaxation, into Shavasana, to find comfort in a relaxed posture and to allow today's sadhana to really integrate deeply, to find your own silence there in a few minutes. But I welcome you now to conclude alongside with me in our prayer of Mahamrityunjaya mantra. It's a beautiful mantra of fearlessness, and it really allows us to let go and to be here completely in life now. So welcoming you, if it feels comfortable, to bring hands to heart, and you can repeat after me. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityor Mokshiyamamritat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. A conclusion here, just truly asking that whatever has been seen, maybe it hasn't been consciously seen, but the revelations, the echoes of this morning's sadhana, may they pervade deep, to wash away any places where we're still clinging to conditionings, to holdings that create suffering for ourselves and others. May we be emptied out so completely, so that freedom is all that's left here, so that peace is our only knowing. May each and every one of us know in this life boundless joy, and may all beings truly be free from suffering. Namaste. Thank you, everyone, as always, for coming together in these ways for our morning Vichara yoga. We will meet again together on Wednesday morning Much love to you wherever you are throughout the world, whatever time it is there. Have a beautiful, blessed day or evening, and we'll see each other again soon. Okay, bye everyone.